Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. President Rhonda Ren's presiding. Our song and pledge will be led by past President Matt Davis. Visitor introduction by the beautiful, spunky Marty Alexander. And now our invocation will be given by past President Corey Nickerson.
Will you bow with me? Lord of creation and Lord of our lives, we thank you for this opportunity to be with friends, to be with people of like mind who want to make a difference in our world. Lord, we ask that you would give us courage when we have to start a new project. Give us persistence when we need to keep the project going. Let us never give up. Lord, we are so close on so many fronts. We thank you for the opportunity to complete these projects. We thank you for the food, nourish it to the needs of our bodies, and let us be useful in your service to the world. In your name we pray. Amen.
Join me in the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, was the cloudy weekend at the twilight's last gleam, whose rose stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts he watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the runners went where the long's bursting in air, gave proof throughout the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, fellow Rotarians and guests. You are attending District 6110, Club 145, 2500, whatever. Oops. We're so glad you're here today and hope that you're cool and expended from the heat. I'd like to welcome, you know the drill, please stand with your guests and we'll acknowledge you after everyone's been announced. Steve Mason's the guest of Beverly Marquardt. And Nancy Daniels also the guest of Beverly Marquardt. Bill Gaddis has brought his wife, Karen. Connie Pearson is the guest of Michael Willis. Terry Daniel is the future husband of Rhonda Ren's. Very excited to have you here, Terry. And she also has a guest, Whitney Collins. Brian Puza is the guest of Trudy Sweeter. And Chuck has with him a slew of guests. His grandkids, 7 out of 10 of the grandkids are here today. I'd say that's a very prolific family. So would you please stand when I call your name? Phoebe, Wilson, Isabel, Luke, Avon, Turner, and Gage. Welcome you all. Doug Drummond, candidate for district judge, is the guest of Doug Walker. Mike Moore, ticket manager of Tulsa Shock, is the guest of Marlene Livaday. Gail Sullenberger, the dean Collins College of Business, is the guest of Linda Adloff. Oh, yes, I just screwed up your boss. Oh, I'm sorry. Paybacks are going to be really bad on this one. Nancy Shelton is the guest of Phil Viles. Oh, no, also Linda Adloff, I'm sorry. You'll note we don't have lined paper today. Becky Collins, President and CEO of the Tulsa Global Alliance, is the guest of Phil Viles. Welcome. Tom Swartz is the guest of Curtis Craig. Beverly Mullen, guest of Jane Roeder. Blake Anthem is the guest of Brad. Judge Eric Quaint is the guest of Fred Rahal. Excuse my pronunciation. Rahal, thank you. Edwin King is the guest of Ed Jenkins. Welcome all. We're so glad you're here. And now I'd like to announce our Rotary visitors today. If you'd please stand. Anna Lukinson, Mindy Strain, Kyan Camus, Amethyst Cavallero, Katie Nicholas, Natasha Harris, Hunter Matitobe? Thank you. Spelling would be good. Corrine Gates, Ron Gates, and Kathy LaFortune are guests of our Rotary, right? Thank you all for your patience.
I think Marty's going to start her happy hour a little earlier. All right, and thank you, Luke, for ringing our bell today. You did a great job. All right, we're going to welcome our Rotary sponsor, John Stava, with Stava Building Corporation. We encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. Now we're going to have our volunteers, and thank you so much for coming early. So let's thank our sponsor and all of our volunteers today. We have a lot of committee meetings today. Above and Beyond Awards is in room 232, Club Foundation Trustees 233, Long Range Planning 234, Social Media Website Thomas Hall in the back of the room, as well as our social service events in the back of Thomas Hall. All right, our announcement today, our speaker on August 13th will be Senator Tom Coburn, so please mark your calendars for that day. I know many of you will want to bring a guest, so we want to arrange for adequate seating, and there should be a card on the table to have advance reservations for that day. So please sign your guests up for that day. And now we're going to have Hunter and Kyan come up to the side mic. They have a presentation to give today.
Thank you, everyone, for having us. I am Kyan Camus, immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. And as many of you guys know, in May we hosted our second annual wine, cheese, and chocolate fundraiser. It was a wild success, and because of that, we're here today to make a presentation of a check for half of the funds that we raised. We still have another half to give to Rebuilding Together Tulsa. I'm going to turn it over to...
Hi, thank you, guys. So we'd like to thank our sponsors, Aon, Synergy, Williams, Johnson Jones, and Spirit Bank. They were our major sponsors for the event and helped make us very successful. With that, we'd like to ask Kathy LaFortune to come up and accept this donation of $3,250, which will do the same for RTT.
Before I step away, I want to say say thank you to all of you who attended the event and supported us. We couldn't do it without the Rotary Club of Tulsa's assistance. You guys were fantastic. Thank you.
And on behalf of the JBFC board and Chris Gates, I want you all to know that this money will go so much further in Africa than it will in this country, and it will be wisely used and well spent, providing hope for these children. Thank you so much.
Just think, a few years ago, Rotaract wasn't even in form, and now we are giving away money. I just think that's very exciting. I don't know. I watched American Idol one time, and J-Lo said, you can't buy these things. So if you don't have chili bumps, you should have it. Okay? All right, now we're going to have John Raines come up to the side mic, and he's going to tell us what's going on.
Good afternoon. Our first social event this year is with the Tulsa Shock, and I know you'll be in awe of all the great players that you have the opportunity to meet at 5:30 courtside. You can shake hands, you can take pictures, you can do all that. I do have a small complaint with the Tulsa Shock. Since you're here, I'll just let you know. I did some collateral for our sign-up sheets. They're outside. I need a picture of Courtney Paris shooting a free throw because we have too much Baylor going on around here. Let's get some Sooner alumni going. Okay. August the 8th at 5:30, if you are available then, that's a Friday evening, you can come down and meet the players. Tip-off is at 7. We're in the One Oak area, so there'll be a buffet dinner, a cash bar, soft drinks. You'll also receive a t-shirt and a great game admittance, all for $35. I've emailed all 409 of you, and 400 of you have yet to purchase your tickets, so I look forward to that. And let's sell out the Shock and send them off for their season finale with San Antonio on August the 8th. See me afterwards or reply to your email. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And now Matthew, our Sarge, has a lot of things to tell us today.
All right, we have quite a few fines today, but I'm thinking that maybe $1 per name that was mispronounced. So at my count, I was trying to keep a tally, but it was going pretty quick. But I got 11, so if I could have $11, that'd be great. So quick reminder, Marty, of where your $11 is going. The Rotary Foundation, all Sarge fines go to our local foundation. We've got some pictures of the wonderful things that the foundation does. I had some people ask me during the week that, they couldn't remember the new Sarge email that we had set up. So it's on the screen in front of you, but in case you forget, it's sarge@tulsarotary.com. Try to keep it real simple, sarge@tulsarotary.com. Or you can just during the Sarge announcements text my cell phone with the word Sarge to 764-5676, and I'll call you after the meeting to find out what your fine is. So up to the, I'm take a liberty being Sarge and put my daughter up first. So she was 3 on Friday, and we had her birthday party on Saturday, and I thought she looked pretty cute. So $30 for Eden. Thank you. Next up, Matt gave me the opportunity to figure out the balance of his fine for Matt and Becky being in the Oklahoma magazine, and I thought a reasonable balance was $1 for Matt and $49 for Becky. He accepted that, so thank you, Matt. So we're setting the bar pretty high this year for the chance encounter of 2 Rotarians. The first entry for the year we've got is in Germany, where David tells me that he was coming out of a cello recital, or organ recital, and happened to spot Joe Moran across the way. And this was outside St. Stephen's Cathedral in Passau, Germany. So unless there's some special Photoshop, it's $25 a piece. Thank you, gentlemen. Pete Smith, thank you very much. First year in Rotary, it's good to have you here, and a few birthday years, so $61 from Pete, thank you. And Tim Knoll, $100 for his 5th Rotary anniversary and 24th wedding anniversary to Barbara. So congratulations, Tim, and thank you. And Phil Viles, 33 years in Rotary. Phil did list to me how he accumulated those 33 years, and I think it was something like Claremore, Will Rogers, Washington, D.C., Tulsa. And so it's 33 as well as Phil's birthday on July 18th, so congratulations, Phil. Jerry Russell, 58th wedding anniversary to Patricia on July 21st, so he says it's all down to Patricia, and huge congratulations. I'm at 7, so I've got 51 to catch up, but I plan to. Thank you, Jerry. And Michael Turner. I love getting photos to go along with these announcements, so please keep sending them through. So Lisa and Michael had their 17th wedding anniversary, and they went to Rhode Island, and the number was they were married in 1997, so that's 97 plus 7 days at sea, and they remained married afterwards. So congratulations. $104. Thank you, Michael. And the last one for today, Hal Allen, thank you very much, $150, 34 years in Rotary and 42 years being married, and some birthday years. So thank you very much, Hal. That's all for this week. Please text me, email me, or call me. Thank you.
Matthew, while you were talking, I sent you a text. Did it work? Oh, great. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. All right. See, it was very easy to do. Okay. Now we're going to have our Rotarian of the Day, but I want to say on a personal note, Steve, you can head this way, but Coach Blankenship, I had the honor of being a parent where my son was the quarterback for Coach B, and I got to see the kids play with everything in them, not because of fear, but out of respect. And I just want you to know that personally, my son learned a lot from you, and not only on the field, but off the field. So Steve, I'm going to introduce you. Come this way. Steve is a financial advisor with Catalyst Financial Group. Drawing on his playing days at the University of Tulsa and experience in the field in the NFL, Steve has been very instrumental in securing our area celebrities for our annual IBA Awards. He joined our club in March 2005. He's a Club Foundation Fellow. Please welcome Steve August.
How about that for an opening act? It's a pleasure for me to introduce a good friend of mine, Bill Blankenship, to us today. He comes in his starting his fourth season at TU. His record over the first 3 years, 22-17. And in his first 2 years, he finished with 19 victories, which is the second most in TU history. His big year in 2012 led the Golden Hurricane to an 11-3 record that was tied for the most wins in school history. In that year, he won the Conference USA Championship, and we beat Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl, and he was also named Conference USA Coach of the Year. Bill grew up in Spiro, Oklahoma, and Ed, did you know that Bill Blankenship turned down OU to come to play at TU? Bill spent 23 years as an Oklahoma high school football coach. At the high school level, he compiled a 205 and 68 record, including an average of 10 wins per season for his last 20 years. He appeared in the state championship game 8 times. He guided Union to 3 state championships in 02, 04, and 05. And at Union, they won 8 straight district championships and had a 56-game home winning streak from 97 to 05. Bill and his wife Angie have given back to the Tulsa community in many ways, such as Angie's volunteer work at Hawthorne Elementary, and they have also raised money and brought an organization to town called Feed My Starving Children. And Bill and his brothers also started One Hope Vision, which bought the old Rose Bowl bowling alley and established the Tulsa Rose Bowl Sports, Educational, and Leadership Training Center, working with inner city youth. Bill and his wife Angie have 3 sons, Josh, Caleb, and Adam, and 5 grandchildren and 1 on the way. Please help me in bringing a warm welcome to Bill Blankenship.
Thank you. It's so good to be back. This is a great club. I know you know that, but it is so fun. The energy that we get to be a part of when I come visit you is something that I hope you carry that with a lot of pride. You know, once again, the IBO Awards were, every year I'm wondering how you're going to outdo what you did last year, and we did it again. You did it again in terms of, I think, raising the bar once again with the IBO Awards. Fabulous event, and it certainly brings a lot of credibility to this organization, but more importantly to our community and to all the great things that you represent. So from that, I thank you. Got a couple of things to say. It just made me think when Rhonda was talking about me coaching her son, Jordan, who I want you to know was a fabulous baseball player. He was a good high school football player, too. But he went on to play professionally and play baseball. And so I'll tell you a quick story. Jordan had followed a couple of pretty good quarterbacks that we had Justin Fuente, who was a state player of the year, and then later on my own son, and then I think probably right after Tyler Gooch maybe, and then he was our next quarterback. And we were playing Broken Arrow. I remember this like it was yesterday, Rhonda. We're playing Broken Arrow in the opening game at Union. And we got down to the goal line. We're on about the 8 or 9 yard line, and I called one of our combination pass plays where we throw a slant route from the short side of the field, and if that's covered, you have another combination to the field, and we talk about, you know, if it's man coverage, throw it here. If it's zone coverage, throw it here. And Jordan took a 3-step drop and he zings it in there, and it's a touchdown. And it's the first game, probably his first touchdown as a starting quarterback to throw. He's running off the field, he's happy, and I do just like I always do with the quarterback, go high-five him. I said, Jordan, what did you see, man? What did you see? What made you go there? He goes, Coach, tell you the truth, I just threw it as hard as I could. So, good job, son, let's go. So if you got a really good baseball player, really good athlete, don't overcoach him. And he was a great quarterback for us, and that is an absolutely true story. I also was thinking as we stood up here, I don't know if y'all get fired up like I did. The national anthem, wow, way to go, and you guys singing it. You don't need guests when you can come in and sing like that. We had a group, I think Kathy mentioned that it was on TV last night. We had a group of our players that go out to the Cancer Treatment Center and do a karaoke night with the patients. It's a lot of fun. None of them are getting invited to The Voice. I want you to understand that. We're doing it for fun. You guys, though, I wanted somebody to say play ball, kick off, something. When I heard that, I was fired up. Way to go. And I think that just is so much the energy that you bring is just so important in life. But also, I think that's how it comes out with one another here. So thank you again for that. I'm going to go a little different. I've started doing this way because of just the time that we have. I want you to get what you're interested in. So I'm going to start with questions. I know what I'm going to share. I'm going to coach you at the end, okay? I'm going to give you a little coaching because that's what I do. But I'm going to save enough time to do that. But if you've got some questions that you'd like to ask me, let's start with that, and then we'll come back and finish up with a little coaching encouragement. Yes, sir.
Talk about the new conference and our prospects.
Okay. I get asked often about the new conference we're moving into, the American Athletic Conference. We just call it the American. It's a little bit of the familiar and the new. The thing that's familiar, and some people will say, well, it's just the same as the old, because we have SMU, Houston, Tulane, Memphis. Those are the schools around us that had made a move, and we felt it was important to stay with some peer schools. But we also are adding some power players to the conference of what we've been used to. Cincinnati, Connecticut, Temple, South Florida. We already had Central Florida. They were in the other division of Conference USA, but they are part of this as well, as will be East Carolina. And then we're adding the Naval Academy in another year. So those, I think, should be 12. I may have missed somebody out of that mix, but I think you get Conference USA was great for Tulsa, and in no way would I ever want to demean our time there because it was fabulous. But I think what we got is the best teams out of Conference USA, and put them with some really good teams that were in the old Big East. And I think the thing I like about it as a football coach is there's not really a 2,000-pound gorilla on the schedule, but every week is going to matter. I mean, every week is pretty tough. And so I like the fact that just as the university, Stedman, Upham, and Dean Solinger, everybody's trying to raise the bar. I mean, we're trying to do the same thing in our football program. Yes, sir. TU shirt. Way to go. People ask me about the quarterback a lot. Those are probably the two most common questions I get, our new conference and the quarterback. The quarterback situation is that coming out of spring, Dane Evans is our number one quarterback. He had kind of, I really believe, through spring practice, separated himself. There may have been an article recently, I forget where it came out, but one of the things I'd like to do to really, if you followed Tulsa, Dane did not play very well at the end of the season. The truth is, we didn't play very well at the end of the season. And so what I think is important to put in perspective is the guy that we had really prepared for that season, Cody Green, who had led us to the 11-win season in the Liberty Bowl and all that, is 6'4", 245, 250 pounds. He's a pocket passer, a direct runner. I mean, all those kind of things. And so we built everything around that guy. And then when it didn't work out, you put Dane in, who's about 6'1", and he doesn't have the height that Cody does and being under center and do all those things that we were asking Cody to do, and he's certainly not the runner that Cody was. And so I think we put Dane in a bad situation of trying to run an offense that really wasn't suited for him when we first put him in. That's nobody's fault but my own. I think you'll see Dane in a completely different light now, doing a lot more of what we can do with him. Spring was good, and we came out of that very well. He he broadened the gap. And then a young man, Jay Burgess, who came in as a true freshman. He was a mid-year graduate, so he came to the University of Tulsa in January. Kind of shook off the wide eyes that you get as a new freshman. And the last week to 10 days of fall camp, we really saw him starting to grow, and he kind of narrowed the gap back. Had a great spring game. He's not where Dane is yet, but I think Dane I've never seen anybody work harder than what Dane Evans has done this summer. And I think there's a reason for that because he knows those guys are right behind there. And I feel like we're going to be much improved. I know there's nobody more optimistic than football coaches in August and July. Okay? But that's just the way I do truly believe that. Question? Yes, sir. Kicking game. Interesting thing, most years we're finding ourselves in a rebuilding mode the last 3 years that I've been here, and that's an area that we're walking in with a little more known commodities. Carl Salazar, a young man out of Broken Arrow that had walked on, earned our kicking job a year ago, kind of out of the blue because we'd had some changes. Carl was solid. He was like 17 out of 20 or 21 as a field goal kicker. He's on the watch list for all the new awards. By the way, ask me about watch list in a minute. I got some things to say about that, but we've got that. Our punter is back, freshman Dalton Parks, that had taken over the job a year ago. He kind of had some freshman moments, but he is so much better from fall camp, and then again this spring, he looked like the guy that we thought we'd have. We would have him back. Our deep snapper, Ray Higuera, hopefully will graduate, and nobody will know his name because those guys, and nobody really understands that, but you don't want to know who the guy is, the deep snapper, unless it snaps it over his head. So his job, he wants to graduate in his 4th year, and nobody really know who he is. He just did his job for 4 years, and he's on track, 3 years. So Ray's done a great job. So we got all of those components back. One that was kind of out of the blue, Cole Way, that we had recruited, that was our kickoff man and also was a punter and just did a little bit of everything. Really unusual story. Hopefully you saw it. But Cole, after 4 years out of high school, got drafted by Kansas City in baseball because he's a left-handed pitcher, 6'8", and actually hadn't pitched in 4 years, and through a kind of a father-in-law deal or just some connections, used to be an outstanding baseball player, did a little tryout, and they hit him around for a bit, and I guess he threw 92, 93 miles an hour in the tryout. So he got drafted and will bypass his senior year, so we'll miss the depth that Cole gives us, but otherwise I think we're in pretty good shape in the kicking game. Yes, sir.
How do you develop your men off the field?
You know, we have to be very conscientious. Well, we don't have to be. We choose to be very diligent about how we expose them to things in the community, to things that we believe in culturally that we think will make the difference in them as men. You know, you guys here, this is maybe a microcosm of what you do, but I mentioned going out to the cancer care treatment center. Those things don't just happen. We have to kind of help get people to volunteer. We get our players to go down and volunteer at the One Hope Center at the Rose Bowl, working with our disadvantaged kids in town. We bring in the Feed My Starving Children program and pack food. And the reason we do those things from our leadership standpoint is we believe that if you can expose young people to volunteerism, that it gets contagious. And we believe they kind of like it once they get involved in it. And so we want to expose them and let them see how they can give back. We are very blessed to be football coaches and football players and getting to go to school and getting our school paid for and all those things. And if you get caught up in entitlement, you lose sight of the blessing of the opportunity. And so we think the best way to get away from entitlement is to give back. And so we just try to deliberately get them involved in the community. Good question. Yes, sir. Look, I think if it's my guys, I'm excited for them to be on the watch list. I think it's amazing, and I say this with all fair. I love Blake Bell, but if you can get on the watch list and you've never played a play at a position, how big a deal is it? I think it's just if you turn a guy in, he's on the watch list. And I'm talking about our own guys, but so that would be my deal. I think the watch list give us something to talk about this time of year when there's nothing else really going on the radio. They love to have that. It's either that or rank your top 4, of something all time and get people talking about it. Yes, sir.
Most of your players, more than half of them, do not have a father. You have received so much from your dad. What are you passing on from your dad through your life to those?
Oh, you're going to make this kind of touchy for me. I lost my dad about 2 weeks ago, and I've been very, very blessed. My dad was a high school coach. Let me tell a couple of quick stories. I'm going to save all this. I believe I came into coaching because of how I grew up in my dad's household. I don't think it's unusual, our family business, we all get that. But I grew up with all kinds of other people in my house because my dad was old school coach. Back in Spiro, he was back in the 60s, if you were the coach, you were the coach. He was head football coach, boys basketball coach, girls basketball coach, coached baseball in the summer. We didn't know fall, spring, and winter. We knew football, basketball, baseball. That was seasons to our family. But because of that, and if you can imagine integration happened there in the 60s, we were beginning to see young men of color in our house and I didn't know any better. It's just the way it was. At my dad's, we had a remembrance celebration down in Spiro last Saturday that I didn't get to attend. This was not the memorial service. They were actually doing a scholarship fund that they had started for him, and he was supposed to have been there. And just because he passed, he wasn't able to. And there was a gentleman, 30, that had just retired 31 years from the military. He had been a non-commissioned officer, so I think, is Sergeant Major, is that anyway, he was at the top level you could get when he retired. And they asked him to speak about my dad. He was an African-American gentleman. And Marvell Lewis said, well, I didn't know until I came here that Gerald, Coach Blankenship, see, I'm not coach. I want you to understand that. In my family, my dad was coach. He said, I didn't know Coach had 3 sons. I always thought he just had 2. He said, I knew Rex, that was my older brother, and he said, I thought his 2 sons were Rex and me. Because he said, he always called me son. He said, son, get over here, son, do this, son, do that. And I just thought there was 2 of us, me and Rex. So I didn't realize I shared him with everybody else. But over and over and over again, they talk about, and this was my dad's deal, okay? And probably the last 15 years of his life, he talked about this over and over again, is he believed that if love truly is eternal, which is what we get taught out of scriptures, that you can never love enough. And so loving is something you could always take, whether you're talking about your family, your spouse, your community, you can always raise it to another level. And it was amazing how many of those men who are now retired age that played for my dad talked about, I just knew he loved us. And so I think that's what we're trying to do. Okay? Yes? It's one of the real concerns, I promise you, that I think we all have on our campus. And there has been I don't mean our campus, I'm talking about college campuses in general. Unfortunately, in my opinion, one of the things that's been lost in this generation is a respect for females. Okay? It's not been taught as well to young men, a respect factor that's there. It is one of the things that we believe has to be taught. You cannot assume that our players know that anymore. And so we do orientation, we do continued, we bring in guests and speakers and all kinds of things, and trying to get them to a point of understanding that my mother, my sister, that's who I'm talking to. These girls on campus are somebody's sister, somebody's future mother, those kind of things. And so it's a concern that I have about just an awareness of respect. And I think we're making progress. I know there's a lot of movements. There's a lot of people socially doing a better job because we've finally identified that that's one of the issues. But it's in our culture, and I don't have time to go into all that, but in our culture, it's one of the areas that we've lost a little, with expanding rights, we've also taken away a little bit of, I think, and respect for one another, not just male, female, but for each other. So, okay, I've got time for 1 or 2 more. Yes, sir.
Tell us about your schedule.
Schedule. Oh, thanks for asking. We start at home on August 28th, and that's the first time we've opened at home since I've been coaching, so that's over 8 years. I looked it up. It's actually a home conference game with Tulane. We have not played a home conference game to open up the season in 30 years. Okay? So, and the last time we did that, we won, and we're going to win again. But we've got Tulane coming in August 28th. It's a Thursday night, 7 p.m. I don't think any of the other state schools are in, so let's come pack Chapman out, get started, get us going. The very next week, the University of Oklahoma pays us a visit into Chapman Stadium, be a home game for us. Do y'all realize you can get season tickets, which gives you your Oklahoma ticket for as little as $120? I wouldn't. I'd wait and get those single game tickets, though. Don't worry about that. We have as our other non-conference games, we'll have Colorado State later on in October and Texas State at the end of September, which is Coach Francione is the coach at Texas State. And then the conference games that we'll have will be the familiar teams that I just mentioned, those other. We do not play Cincinnati, nor do we play Connecticut this year in the rotation. We'll play everybody else in our conference. Great schedule. One more. Yes, sir.
Talk about some of the books you like to read or study regarding leadership.
Oh, man. the books or people that I like to study in leadership, there's just no limit on where it comes from. I really like John Maxwell. I think he hammers it down. The owner of the Orlando Magic, what's his name? Somebody know? Has a great book on total leadership. I should know it off the top of my head. I apologize, but it's a great book. I like to study other groups. One of the ones that I got recommended to me that was on my summer reading list I would recommend to all of you is a book called Legacy. Now, there are a lot of books with legacy in the title. I don't remember the author, but this is about the New Zealand Rugby Club, the All Blacks, arguably the best rugby organization in the world. Fabulous study about leadership and how that has taken off and things that we're trying to utilize in our own program. I would just throw a little tidbit out here. They have a little saying amongst the All Blacks called leadership, the leaders sweep the shed. Okay, the shed is the locker room. Okay, and the sweep is not just the physical act of cleaning it up. After a game, you sit around, you evaluate, you talk, you figure out what went right, what went wrong, then everybody leaves and the captains stay. Then the captains get a plan for the next week and the organization of that, and then they literally sweep the shed. They clean the shed out because it's what leadership does, but they also figuratively and mentally sweep the shed. That game's over, we got to move forward, we're done, and then we go on. I love that book. That was a real challenge to me, Legacy. And again, there's 2 or 3 of those, but if you look up the one about the All Blacks, that's great. Okay, I'll give, because it's Ray. You guys don't know, but when I first became the head coach, Ray was like my groupie. He was going around to all my talks. He became like my Ed McMahon, straight man, you know, and he'd say, tell them the one about this. And all right, so Ray, what's your question? Well, I appreciate that. See, that's what I'm talking about. He lobs up the softballs. I love the singing. I'm not a great singer. Okay, that's the truth. But my mom, because my dad had this whole deal about we're in every sport, my mom was a good athlete too. My mom was a high school English teacher. And so words and how we say things really meant a lot to us. She believed we needed some culture in our life. And so I tell people it is strictly because of my mom that I took piano lessons for nearly 6 weeks. Thank you, Ray. And I don't have to embellish. These are just true things in my life. So I want to give you the 3 things that I'm coaching my team about right now. And if you've heard me in the last 2 or 3 months, this is probably the same notes that I've shared at other places, because I just tend to think that if it's something that's working in my life and working in the lives of my players as we're trying to develop them, that it may be something that you can apply. So I'm going to give you 3 quick principles that I think apply throughout any area if you're really wanting to be good. If you want to be champion, if you're wanting to be the best you can be, these are areas that I think we need to be reminded of. One, and this is what my young son calls a brain grenade, because I'll say it and you'll go, what? You know. This is really important. Everything is about everything. Everything is about everything. You see, in my job, what I have learned, and in my marriage, in my job as a grandfather, there are no minor details. Everything is about everything. It's who we are. There's a friend of mine in town that pastors a church. He says it this way, and I think this is valid. He says, you can watch how a man does anything, and that's how he'll do everything. How a man does anything is how he'll do everything. Everything's about everything. And so I try to get my players and myself to understand I can't just flip it off and say, okay, this part of my life doesn't matter. When we go recruit players, we have a challenge. We have an nationally renowned academic institution, and we're playing championship level football nationally. So we have to find young men that can fit in both of those worlds. Now, they may not be the best at one or the other, but they've got to be able to fit in both. They cannot be a guy that says, you know what, I'll give you everything I got when the lights are on, but that classroom, I just can't pay attention to that. And some try. Well, I'm just telling you, that guy will do that same kind of effort some other place in his life. You have to learn that everything is about everything. And I think that's a challenge for us because we tend to compartmentalize. We're going to really give effort here, and we're going to kind of, my dad had it real simple. That's not the way a Blankenship does it. I mean, that was his standard for us. That's not how a Blankenship does it. The second thing I would say to you is this. First, everything's about everything. The second thing is always bring your A game. It kind of feeds the same thing, but it's always bring your A game. Understand that you're always being evaluated. You cannot look back in your life and say, boy, I knew on this particular day that's when I was going to meet this particular person who was going to look at how I did this that might give me an opportunity down the road to open the door to go to this job. You just don't know. In football, I learned this from a really good basketball coach. In football, in basketball, they would tell you this. Every game against two good opponents usually comes down to 7 or 8 possessions. In football, I would tell you, every big game against common opponents is probably going to come down to 6 or 7 big plays. And those will be the plays that determine the outcome of the game. If I said to my players, look, Chuck, this is the play, this is for the game, I have no doubt he will give me 100%. No doubt. The problem is you never know when those 6 or 7 plays are going to be. And that's why you have to teach players, we have to play that way the great teams play that way every play because they don't know when those tipping points are. I think it's true in our own life. You got to always bring your A game. Kind of goes into everything's about everything. The third thing I would say, and I think this is the way we all kind of close it up, and this is football terminology, but I know you're going to get this. Alignment is more important than assignment. Alignment is more important than assignment. Tony Dungy, Lovie Smith, great defensive coaches in the NFL. You hear them talk, they'll say this over and over again. Most defenses get beat before the ball is snapped because they're not lined up correctly. And if you don't start in the right location to give yourself a chance to be successful, then you have no chance of being successful. So we always talk about alignment on offense and defense and in football. I'm telling you, alignment is more important than assignment. And as a person, there is vertical alignment that we have, and I believe without a doubt with our God, a vertical alignment, and there's a horizontal alignment, which is with other people. And you have to get aligned correctly before you can even worry about your assignment. In our culture, what do we want? I want to be the quarterback. I want to be the starter. I want to be the president. I want to be this. I want to be that. Let me tell you, I really believe it. Get lined up right, and your assignment will find you. But we have to be lined up correctly. And that's one of the things we talk about with our players all the time. Our little mantra that you'll hear over and over again when our guys are talking to each other is side by side. We are side by side. We are linked arm in arm, side by side. We've got to have that because we have no chance to be successful if we don't line up side by side. We believe it's side by side and side by side. And so, again, that's your coaching today. Everything's about everything. Bring your A game. And I think the reason this group is so successful is you know how to line up right. So have a great day. Come out to Chapman Stadium and we'll see you there.
Wow. Do you feel fed in more than one way? I mean, that was just awesome. I love learning quick principles, and thank you so much, Coach B. That was just amazing. All right, I have a correction on one of the meetings. There is no above and beyond meeting. So if you're on that committee, that's an oops. Didn't bring our A game on that one, Coach. All right, we have a book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton, and Coach Blankenship has signed Big Nate in the Zone. Is that appropriate or what? I love that. Cliff Talbert will be our speaker next week on July 30th. And then on August 6th, Jared Clancy will be our speaker. And Jeff Hassel will be presiding that day because I'm going to be on a cruise ship, thanks to Marty. All right, and for some light up fun, Rotary fun, as I adjourn this meeting, let this music make your day brighter with Madonna's Ray of Light. We are adjourned.